Namaste. I am back. This is Vinayak back again for the part 2 of the chapter manufacturing industries. And we shall continue with the slides. Mineral based industries. What are the mineral based industries? Iron and steel industry, aluminum smelting, chemical industries, fertilizer industries, cement industries, automobile industries, information technology and electronics industry. So these are the major mineral based industries. So first we shall learn about iron and steel industry. This industry is called as basic industry because it provides raw material to many other industries such as machines and tools, transport equipment, construction material, etc. Already we discussed in our previous part that I told you, like, these are the basic industries. They provide the basic material, that is the finished goods of these industries become the raw material for some other industries. It is also called as heavy industry because raw material is iron ore, coal, limestone, are which are always bulky in nature. They have the raw material in a large volume and they are very bulky. So they come under heavy industries. Most of the steel plants are located in the Chota Nagpur Delta region. That is, Chota Nagpur Delta means from the central part of India to the northeastern part. That is all come under Chota Nagpur region. That's why, like, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, all these areas come under Chota Nagpur region. Today, steel industries in India are facing many problems. That is, the first important thing is high cost of production, limited availability of coking coal, because to heat the ore they need lot of coal. So there is limited availability of this coal and cost of the production is very high. Low productivity of the labor is there, they are working, but the productivity of their working system is very low. Irregular supply of energy means here electricity mainly. Then raw materials are found only in certain pockets of India. Raw material also, ore is available only in few places in the country. Poor infrastructure like transport and communication, etc. Even poor infrastructural facilities also are the challenges for a iron and steel industry. Why is the iron and steel industry located in peninsular India only? The reason is here good and more raw material. Large quantities of quality iron and steel is available only in peninsular India. Power resources, coal, oil, and water power are available in these areas. Skilled labor, cheap and skilled labor is available. It can also had from Bihar, Orissa, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh. Besides, skilled labor is also locally available. Nearness to the market, large indigenous markets are available in peninsular India. Port facilities are available for export of iron and steel manufactured goods. See, this is the map where you see all iron and steel plants. Mostly they are located in the Chota Nagpur area and few parts of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, as well Andhra Pradesh. Aluminium smelting, this is actually not there in your syllabus, but you can go through. Aluminum smelting is the second most important metal in the industry of India. You know, aluminum, it is very light in nature, resistance to corrosion, and good conductor of electricity, malleable. Malleable means it can be bent or molded in any shape and become strong when it is mixed with other metals. So that's why aluminum is very important mineral for us. That is, it is used for right from manufacturing a pin to aeroplane. What we call a pin to aeroplane. It is used to manufacture aircrafts. Aluminum is the major metal or mineral used for manufacturing of aircraft, utensils, and wires. It has gained popularity as the substitute of steel, copper, zinc, and lead in a number of industries. Aluminum smelting plants in the country are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. In 2008-9, India produced over 15.29 lakh million tons of aluminum. Bauxite is the raw material for aluminum, manufacturing aluminum. That is used in the smelters, is a very bulky and dark reddish color rock. Regular supply of electricity and water is the main source of raw material at minimum cost are the two prime factors for location. Chemical industry. The chemical industry in India is fast growing and diversifying. It contributes approximately 3% of the production. It is the third largest in Asia and occupies the major place in the world in terms of its size. It comprises both large and small scale manufacturing units. The chemical industry is its own largest consumer because basic chemicals undergo processing to further produce other chemicals that are used for industrial application, agriculture, or directly for the consumer markets. There are two types of chemicals again, organic and inorganic chemicals. Organic means it include petrochemicals which are used for manufacturing of synthetic fibers, synthetic rubbers, plastics, dye, stuff, drugs, and pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals means with the medicines which are manufactured, what we consume. Organic chemical plants are located near oil refineries or petrochemical plants. Inorganic chemicals include sulfuric acid used to manufacture fertilizers, synthetic fibers, plastics, adhesive, paints, dyes, stuff, nitric acid, alkalis, soda ash, which is used to make glass, soaps, and detergents, paper, etc., and caustic soda. These industries are widely spread all over the country. Next is fertilizer industry. The first fertilizer plant in India was set up at Ranipat in Tamil Nadu. The fertilizer industry is centered around the production of nitrogenous fertilizers. At present, there are 10 public sectors undertakings and one in cooperative sector at Hazira in Gujarat under the Fertilizer Corporation of India. So fertilizer consumption is maximum in our country because to increase the agricultural production, for every farmer there is a requirement of fertilizer. Without that, the output of production will be very less. Distribution. Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Kerala have more than half of the total fertilizer production in India. Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka are other important producers because of easy availability of natural gas. The fertilizer industry is widely spread in the country. India produces about 1 million tons of nitrogenous, 4 million tons of phosphatic, and 1.7 million tons of potassic fertilizers. The country is required to import potassium from abroad. So we do not have the required quantity of potassium from in our country. So we need to import from other countries. Cement industry. Cement is essential for construction activities such as buildings, houses, factories, bridges, roads, airports, dams, and other commercial establishments. This industry requires heavy raw material like limestone, silica, alumina, and gypsum. These are the raw materials used in the manufacturing of cement. Coal and electrical power are needed apart from rail transportation. The first cement plant was set up in Chennai in the year 1904. This is a regular 1-mark question in the board exam. First cement plant was set up in Chennai in the year 1904. These are the popular cement companies. That is just an example, like ACC means Associated Cement Corporation Limited, Ultratech Cement, Chettinad Cement. Like that, there are many industries. Next is automobile industry. So many logos you are seeing about the automobile companies. So you know how many new variety of automobiles, cars, bikes, all are in the market. Automobiles provide vehicle for quick transport, goods, services, and passengers. Trucks, buses, cars, motorcycles, scooters, three-wheelers, and multi-utility vehicles are manufactured in India at various centers. The industry is located around Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Hyderabad, Jamshedpur, and Bengaluru, etc. Now, information and technology. Information technology and electronic industries. The continuous growth in the hardware and software is the key to the success of IT industry in India. You know, India plays a major role in the IT sector of the world. The electronics industries covers a wide range of production of transistor sets to televisions, telephones, cellular telephones, pagers, telephone exchange, radars, computers, and other equipment required by the telecommunication industry. And now we can include the mobile phones also in this. Bangalore has emerged as the electronic capital of India. Other important centers for electronic goods are Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, and Coimbatore. So these cities have lot of electronic industries. By 2010-11, Software Technology Park of India, STPI, have come across in 46 locations at different centers of India. A major impact of this industry has been on employment generation. Lot of employment is generated. It is encouraging to know that 30% of the people employed in this sector are women. More than 30% they are women. And you can have a glance at this map, and all the maps are available in your textbook also. And I request all the students to practice the map pointing also. Among all these manufacturing industries, we have one more challenge. That is a major challenge. What is about that is the industrial pollution and environmental degradation. Lot of pollution is taking place because of the industries. So what are these pollution? First one is air pollution. Air pollution is caused by the emission of CO2, that is carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide. You know, whatever the smoke comes out from the automobiles, that is nothing but carbon monoxide. So chimneys of the industries produce heat, leading to global warming and greenhouse effect. Use of CFC in various industrial products depletes ozone layer, which filters ultraviolet rays of the sun. Air pollution affects the human health of humans, animals, plants alike, and also causes damage to the buildings. Other than, even though human beings, animals and plants, even our structures, infrastructures, buildings also get damaged due to the air pollution. Water pollution, dumping of organic and inorganic industrial waste in the water bodies pollute the water. Water pollution is also caused by the discharge of the untreated chemical waste like dyes, detergents, acids, heavy metals like lead and mercury, plastics, fertilizers, etc. Nowadays, all the waste and the dump, whether it is domestic or industrial, all are being flushed out into the nearby water bodies or the rivers or the lakes, where the water is getting polluted, and then which has become dangerous for the life. Industries which produce paper, pulp, chemical, leather, acids, dyes, fertilizers, etc. generate lot of toxic waste which kills the aquatic life. Even the aquatic life will die if these are industries are letting out their wastes into the water bodies. That is, toxic waste means, toxic means poisonous waste, which is released in these water bodies. So by which even the aquatic animals or plants also get affected. Thermal pollution of water occurs in the factories, and thermal pollution, even that also. What do you mean by thermal pollution? In a thermal industries, water is boiled to a high temperature, and same boiling water is let out into the nearby rivers and ponds before cooling. So what happens with this hot water? Again, there is a damage to the aquatic animals and the plants. Noise pollution, high intensity sound generated by running machines, drilling, fans, etc. lead to noise pollution. It causes irritation, hearing impairment, heart attack, etc. among the nearby people. So lot of noise pollution also is there. So how to control of environmental degradation? How we can control it? First one, minimizing use of water for processing by reusing and in 2 or more successive stages. It should be minimized. The usage of water should be minimized, and wastage of water should be reduced, and the water can be reused by processing it in different stages. Harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements. We should have rainwater harvest system by which we can meet our requirements. Treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in the rivers and ponds. Whatever waste water is there or hot water is there, we have to cool it. Then we need to put in the effluent treatment plants before releasing them in the river and ponds to protect the damage of the aquatic life. Treatment of industrial effluents can be done in 3 phases. One is primary treatment by mechanical means. This involves screening, grinding, flocculation and sedimentation. Second, treatment by biological process. Third, treatment by biological, chemical and physical processes. This involves recycling of wastewater into better water. Noise absorbing material may be used. So for that, in your textbook, there is a small box in the end of the lesson, yellow color box. That is, we say source. There he has given one about NTPC. NTPC means National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. NTPC is a major providing corporation in India. It has ISO certification for EMS, that is Environment Management System. The corporation has a proactive approach for preserving natural environment and resources like water, oil and gas fuels in places where it is setting up power plants. This has been possible through optimum utilization of equipment, adopting latest techniques and upgrading existing environment, minimizing waste generation by maximizing ash utilization, providing green belts for nurturing ecological balance and addressing the question of special purpose vehicles for afforestation. Even they are striving hard for even giving more afforestation and reducing the pollution. Reducing environmental pollution through ash pond management, ash water recycling system and liquid waste management is provided. Ecological monitoring, reviews and online data-based management for all its power stations. So now I request all of you that this is the end of the chapter, and uh, again I request all of you, please go through your textbook and go through the textbook, mark all the key points and then prepare your keynotes, then go for the exercise part and compulsorily read your textbooks. Thank you.